There is one thing I learned from one of our podcast episodes.
Mhm.
So I found a hack that I'm going to share right now. I got E to come film my son's hockey game for me, and all it cost me was a banana bread. So,
It's true.
guys,
A good one though. I
that's
wouldn't
it.
have. I knew what it was gonna tell you. I had a taste years, like probably 12 years ago was the last time I tasted it, but I knew how good it was. I wouldn't have come to Shadow Gee for so shitty banana bread. I knew it was the good stuff. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the latest episode of Game Day Claire, the first one of 2025. And Lance and I both got haircuts.
That's it. So we got for New Year's was haircuts. Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out.
New year, new hair, new podcast. Well, not new podcast, but new episode. Life is good.
So today we're going to talk about leveling up in 2025. But first, we're going to reflect a little bit on 2024. So for me personally, 2024 was a pretty big year. Putting myself out there, starting this podcast, connecting back with you. We hadn't worked together in 10 years? We still chat it from time to time, but it was nice to reconnect and get this podcast going, get this idea going. And it's been fun putting myself out there, putting topics out there, getting feedback from people. I was used to working in the shadows. I'm not a YouTube star like you, E. So for me, it was a big deal. What about you for 2024?
Yeah, well, big year for me too, because I got back here from Australia around in August of 2023. So the first few months were really, settling in and doing all the, worrying a bit more about my personal life than my work life. I was still working a bit, obviously doing videos, but the goal was really like in 2024 to really start and be more focused and structured from that perspective. And so, yeah, there was a lot of trial and error. So I don't think the structure is in place yet, but a lot of trial and error, and then figuring out what works, what doesn't, and just like how I want to live my life as well around this crazy. To be honest, like it's mostly the fact that I'm working from home and I'm spending a lot of time at home. So trying to organize my life in a way that I'm not home all day every day. So and in a way it's good motivation to go film more games and getting more content, and so which is good for the channel, good for us, good for all this stuff. So yeah, big year. So what like while we're on the topic, so how do you feel about the like a year of podcasting? Do you feel like it made you, did it help you in your career in a way, or just on the personal level? Do you feel like you're now more, I don't know, more comfortable in front of the camera, more comfortable talking? Not that you're not comfortable talking in front of people, but yeah, how does it change? How has it changed you?
It's changed me a bit because I'm talking to people, but at the end of the day, when we're doing this podcast, I'm talking to you, right? So it's very easy for me to talk and be comfortable in front of this camera right now because I'm just talking to my friend. That's the way my brain works at it. Now, I do film my own spots for my company and stuff like that, and I have a lot harder time talking to the camera then when you're not there. So I just pretend I'm talking to you, E, and it goes a lot
Nice.
smoother. Um, but business wise, for me too, it was a big year. It's really like the second full year where I dive deep into having my own company. And this podcast has helped me get a lot of clients. Now, it's helped me not so much from listeners and stuff like that, because the idea of this podcast is us helping other sports videographers or sharing our insight or inviting our friends from other niches or other sports to come in and talk. But every now and then I'll get some good podcast clips that I'll share on LinkedIn, or I kind of will talk straight to the camera for LinkedIn and give my point of view or explain some of my struggles in that. And those posts have done very, very well, and they've helped me get new clients. And it's just very simple messaging too, like just saying how important video is nowadays for business, right? Like one of our main strategic plans for this podcast is sharing our clips. So we're pretty good. We share almost every day. We share social clips. Um, and that's the whole idea of having this podcast, is building content constantly, and constantly having different content to share. So like when I show these companies this and I show them the numbers that we make either on our YouTube or Spotify or Apple, it just shows that our message is getting out there, and it helps them jump on board to prioritize content. And then obviously as a bonus, then sometimes they hire me to do that content. So that's how it works in that way. But it was definitely a cool year to grow and start this. Like we had filmed what, 3-4 episodes before we even published one. And I remember I was in Florida at the time because I was on a quick business trip, and you
Yeah,
text me and
I remember.
you're like, are we going live today or what? And I was like, ah. I was so afraid to go live, and our shows were edited. We were all ready, and I just never pressed publish. So once you gave me that push and we pressed publish, we haven't looked back. We're at week, what, 41 now. We're coming up to like the goal is 1 year, 52 episodes for a 1 year anniversary show. But we're almost there, and it goes by fast. Like we are producing so much content. Like we're editing a show every week. We have like what, 20 clips every week. We share 7, but that's extra work that we're doing on top of our other work. And it doesn't feel like work, at least for me, like, cause I enjoy doing it. And it is funny. Like, we'll film the show. I'll go back, I'll edit it. And I'm like, oh, I said that, or, oh, we said that, or I'll cut out a little blooper here, blooper there. So it's kind of neat to see yourself in a different perspective also.
True. Very well said. I agree with everything you just said.
Oh, well, how do you find podcasting different than YouTube?
I don't know if it's gonna come out the right way. I was gonna say a lot easier, like in the sense that first of all, I got, like I said, I got someone that I'm talking to, which is someone that I know, a good friend, so it's easy. There's no, it's, and in a way, I think it probably makes me lazier, and you can obviously attest of that. But like, if I'm by myself and everything's on my shoulders and everything has to be like, and also it's a conversation, where my videos, it's more about teaching and facts about equipment and things like that. So this fair bit like preparation that goes into that, and me sort of making sure that I'm saying the right thing. And then, I always say, like to you, like I've said it before we start recording now, that like I ramble a lot when I'm not too sure where I'm going with stuff. I do that a lot on the podcast. When I listen back, that's all I hear. But like, if I'm doing a YouTube video, I'm all of that stuff doesn't make it, because I script it in a way that I know exactly, well, I'm probably going to say it in my own words, but I know what I'm going to say, so I don't have to think about what I'm going to say. So it's a lot easier to just be concise. But like, all that to say that, like, yeah, there's a lot more work that goes into pre-production and the production and all that sort of stuff, where when I do the podcast, it's more of a conversation, and it's a lot easier to just sort of free flow and get inspired by the topic, and just talk about stuff, which is usually what happens when I'm at games, or you run into another videographer and you start conversation, and it's like, oh, so what are you filming with? Oh, what are you filming with? And then the next thing you know, it's been 40 minutes and you're talking about gear and about this and that. And so it's kind of what the podcast is in a way. And so yeah, it's been fun. It's been very different from what I usually do. And yeah, it's like you said, like I started with it. It feels easy,
Yeah, because it's just a conversation, right? Now, there is one thing I learned from one of our podcast episodes. The episode on hiring somebody to do your recruitment video.
Mhm.
So I found a hack that I'm going to share right now. I got E to come film my son's hockey game for me, and all it cost me was a banana bread. So,
It's true.
guys,
A good one though. I
that's
wouldn't
it.
have. I knew what it was gonna tell you. I had a taste years, like probably 12 years ago was the last time I tasted it, but I knew how good it was. I wouldn't have come to Shadowgate for so shitty banana bread. I knew it was the good stuff.
That's it. No, he had to test the camera. So my son was in a hockey tournament. I told him to come on down. He got to test the camera, and in exchange to film my son's game, he got one of my wife's famous banana breads that I used to bring back to our office all the time, back when we used to work together. So it's been an ongoing joke between me and him, because I've had my wife constantly make banana bread, and she's always telling me, "Oh, bring one free, bring one for E, but I only see E virtually most of the time. So it was kind of nice to actually get together, see each other. I actually got to do some B-roll of E. I was like his second cameraman. I
Sure.
was filming E for the YouTube channel, so I better get a credit there. This out of focus shaky shot was by Lance. But it was fun. It
Oh,
was fun to just hang out and shoot the shit and look at the camera. You have this small camera with this massive lens. Um, so it was
that's how I
definitely
roll.
fun working together.
Yeah, no, it was good stuff. It was good fun. Definitely enjoyed it. The videos. Well, no, actually, I'm not at that one yet. It's gonna be the next one. So,
Oh,
well,
okay.
by the time this video comes out, maybe I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe
I'm a bit
we'll
confused
see.
with our timings.
We'll see if my son makes your YouTube video. I don't know. His team didn't play that good that game you were at, so we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, he's being the goalie. He's got a good chance of being in the video.
All right, so let's get back now that we've rambled on for the first 10 minutes. We figure we get all the rambling out of the way, all the touchy feely emotional stuff out of the way. So now let's start it with 2025. Okay.
Yes.
So, actually, before I go to 2025, there's one last thing I want to touch in 2024. Out of everything that you achieved in 2024, what would you say you're most proud of?
I think, well, one of the things, well, this podcast definitely is, because I was thinking about doing something like that, to be honest. Like, I've been before, when you're doing like just YouTube and you're trying to expand and do something different and reach, your audience in a different way, podcasting is a very logical sort of step. So I was thinking about it for a while. I've never really figured out how, because I couldn't see like just myself. If I like, if for example, if I had decided to do like a podcast where I interview other sports videographers, I think like having the pressure to find new people every week would have been like, I was sort of scared of that. I didn't want to go there. I thought it would be too overly complicated, and I didn't want to all just talk by myself, every week. And so I wasn't too sure. So when you reached out to me, it was like the perfect sort of, perfect situation, and someone that I know that I enjoy working with. It's just like easygoing. So it's definitely up there in terms of like the good decisions and the good things that happened last year. Otherwise, just I think the fact that was able to make a living, and I didn't really have to starve all of a sudden, because I stopped working basically and just sort of went YouTube. I went with my YouTube stuff, going all in on YouTube. Like, I'm obviously doing a bit of freelance here or there, but before I moved back here, in Australia, I had a day job. I had a full-time job. So moving away from that and just going all in on the YouTube thing was a bit of a gamble. And so knowing that I was able to go through a year and have a normal income enough to just keep living the same life that I usually live. Like, I didn't have to struggle because I went to on YouTube. Like, that's also something that I'm proud of. I don't know if it's gonna keep going for years and years. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
You never know.
But so far so good. What about you?
So I'm proud about starting this podcast, but what I'm actually very proud about is how consistent we are, and that's something that I'm really proud of because when you come up with an idea like this, you can talk about it, and I've done in the past where you talk about the thing, you research the thing, but it's not doing the thing. And this was doing the thing and making sure, like when we said we are doing this thing, we said we're doing it. So every week we do this, and we have crazy schedules, and even it's hard. We have guests that we have lined up, but our schedules don't always work because they're filming events, we're filming events, we're doing stuff. So it was to make sure that you and I stayed consistent. So that's probably what I'm most proud of, is sticking through it and being consistent. And when I look back, all the content we created, all the content from, you know, 41 podcasts to hundreds and hundreds of social clips, uh, thousands and thousands of views and listens. It's really, really cool to look back and say, like, oh, okay, so people are listening, people are interested in this. At the end of the day, I'm not really concerned about numbers, but they're nice. They're nice to have those numbers, and but you have to do it for you. So when we did this, it was for us, and then we share it with everyone else. But it is doing well, and I'm very very happy about that, and very very proud about that. Now, where are we going to take this? That's what today's episode is about, right? Like, where are we going now in 2025? So
For Spotify to call us with the offer of the $100 million offer for
that's it.
the podcast
Spotify's going to call
exclusivity.
us and say, Joe Rogan wants to speak to you guys. He has an offer for you.
Yes, can't wait.
No, but
Next year, I
the
think.
idea is to grow, make sure our show is good, make sure we get more listeners, and it's nice to get a couple clients through the content that we put out there, and that's really the goal for me in 2025 and for this channel, is to just keep getting bigger, keep being consistent. You know, touch on different subjects, get some different guests. You know, we had one viewer the other day say, "Hey, you guys are really hockey heavy. Are you going to have a soccer guy on?" But we know a soccer guy. It's just he was busy, so he's going to be on the show. So the idea is to try and get touch as many sports as we can, and try and introduce people that we worked with, people that we know through the industry, and try and introduce them and have them tell them your story on this podcast throughout the next 365 days, and then we'll be season 2, season 3, and that's the whole idea.
So when well, do you remember the date where we started? Like when?
It was in March, yeah. So we're 11 weeks away, because this is episode 41. So we're 11 weeks away. All right. So 2025. I'm going to
Yes.
ask you a tough question right off the bat. What skills are you looking to improve in 2025? Because as sports videographers and videographers, we're forever learning. You can't just assume you know everything. There's always new gear, new software, new techniques. So what is it that you want to add in your tool bag this year?
Well, I think I touched on that. Our last episode last year. When I talk, and I definitely talked about it in one of my YouTube videos, where I feel like I was getting a bit complacent with my filming lately, and so that's really what I want to be focusing on, like just trying to be more intentional with the way I film, and then just like my composition, and maybe changing my frame rate sometimes, and then doing all these different things to like achieve something that's going to be more creative, that's more dynamic, or whatever the case, like depending on what I'm going for. But yes, just like try to push myself to not get too lazy, and just to not to set my own ways. And it's mostly in the filming that I've noticed that, but it applies to editing as well. Like it's easy when especially when you're working on, like for if you got like a full-time job where a lot of the 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 videos are very sort of repetitive. Like sometimes, like say you have like a weekly thing that you do all year, like it's easy to get complacent and not trying to go, spend 2 hours on a new effect that you've never done before. So yeah, it's for me, it's mostly about that. It's just making sure that it's obviously learning, but more so just be creative and not just be comfortable. You know what I mean? What about you?
I kind of find myself in the same boat where I do get complacent and I get very comfortable. I feel like I do it in my edits sometimes. Like I have a style and I stick to that style. But when you work with different clients, I can't have the same style for everybody, right? So I gotta make sure that I adjust that style. So what I want to do is be a little bit more effects heavy, because I'm a pretty clean editor. I don't add a lot of special effects. I don't add a lot of motion graphics, stuff like that to my videos. But since CM was on our podcast, I have been dabbling in his After Effects course and that. So I have been learning more After Effects, because I never really use After Effects to its full potential. I use it a lot for, text graphics, opening slates, closing slates, not really in sports, like cutting out guys or using it for special effects that way. So it's something that I've been focusing more on, and it's something that I want to do more of in this upcoming year, because After Effects is very very important. and there's so much you could do, and it's a cool way to be creative. It's a cool way to stand out from the crowd. So that's something that I am currently working on and will continue to work on.
I like it. Well,
Yeah.
we're coming at it pretty much with the same energy, but you're focused more on the editing, the post production, where I'm more concerned about my filming. See,
Well,
we're like a
when
yin
this
and a
is your
yang.
full-time job, I feel like I always in back of my mind, I always tell myself I'm not good enough. And I'll go back and watch no, but it's just something that I always because you see something on
Yeah,
TV and you're like, "Oh, wow, look at this," or, "Oh, look
imposter
at that."
syndrome.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
And I'm always so afraid that I'm there, so I'm always trying to learn new stuff, and I don't know, maybe it's from when I was in school and stuff, but I still cannot look at a TV commercial without counting the cuts. It's something that I catch myself doing it all the time, and I'm always constantly analyzing all these videos that I see, and I just wanna make sure that I'm up to par. And there are times where, you work for a client and they kind of dictate how they want that video, and it's not all like, it's not always what you want, but I try to fight it a bit and give them a little bit of options to make it even better. So I try to, stay on my game, and I figure the more new skills that I learn, or the more I hone those skills, the better it is for me, the better it is for my clients. Now, how do you want to expand your portfolio this
To
year?
be honest, I don't really. Well, no, my portfolio at the end of the day is pretty much my YouTube channel. So it's my. For me, it's a little bit different, but I do want to be more consistent because, like you were talking earlier about the consistency of this podcast, and I think a big factor. Well, first of all, a big factor in our consistency is you, but it's also the fact that like we're accountable to each other. So, and for me, like I know that like I can get very lazy when it only impacts me. Like if I if I'm, if I know that you're waiting on me for something, I'll get it done. Where if it's just me, it's like, who cares? So it's a lot easier in a way to be more consistent when I'm doing a podcast with someone than when it's just my channel. So I have to get back. So basically, build to answer your actual question, to build my portfolio, I want to go back to producing videos on a weekly basis, even if sometimes the videos might not be, because I think I got stuck in my own way where I'm all my videos. It's like I'm at a game. I've got B-roll. I've got an FX30 camera taking behind the scenes shot on me, and then that's just become the norm. But like, there's nothing wrong with just doing a video when I sit down and just talk to the camera for 5 minutes. You know what I mean? So maybe I sometimes it's just going to be that, but I'd like to go back to that consistency so that my channel, therefore my portfolio, has a lot more content, a lot more stuff. Because ultimately, all my videos, it's a library. It's a sports videography, educational sort of library where you can just search by topic and find things about how to set your exposure and how to film basketball and how to do this and that. So to me, that's my way of building up my portfolio, because then people find my channel and sometimes they want to hire me. Most of the time, they're not, they don't live anywhere close to where I live. So it's like, can you? And it was like, well, it depends. Where do you live? And like, Wisconsin. I'm like, it's gonna be tough. But yeah, otherwise, I'd like as well to make like a show reel, I'd say, because typically, like on the YouTube channel, there's a thing for a trailer. So I'd like to do a trailer for the channel that sort of introduce what the channel is about, and just like a short 45-second to a minute sort of thing. But I'd also like to do an actual show reel that I can then send to potential clients, or when people just want to see something, instead of like sending them links to like 4 or 5 of my best YouTube videos, I can just send them my show reel.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah, a lot of people have that. Like when you click on, you have like your most recent video, no? Usually in that
On my
spot.
YouTube channel, yeah, well, it's not the most recent one. I think it's the one that when I launched my bundle, I think I've put it there to try to maximize the eyeballs on that, and it's been there ever since. But yeah, I'd like to have just like a introduction to the channel. This is what it's about. this is who I am, sort of thing. And I used to have one back in the day, a very long time ago, but things have changed. I think the last one I did was like a bit after COVID, basically.
Okay. What's in that bundle? We've never mentioned that on the show. It's the first I'm hearing it.
Yeah, it's like it's desserts. You get like there's cupcakes, there's candy. Yeah.
There's a little bit of everything. Eh?
The links in this description.
So for me this year, my portfolio, I've been on the fence about this for a while, but I'm gonna start a YouTube channel.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's it. It's happening.
I'm gonna dive in. So what my plan is throughout the holidays, I was working on it a bit, kind of coming up with the game plan, and the idea is to kind of launch within the 1 year of Game Day Glare, and have it
Okay.
ready for then. So it gives me till about March to kind of get my stuff together. Because like you, I'm realizing it takes a lot of time, but we're already doing this. I'm already doing clients. So it's like, well, how do you fit this all in? So that's really the struggle. And it's hard to find that niche. Like I don't want to just do sports videography. I don't want to just do videography. So I'm going to do more of the business of videography because a lot of people know how to shoot, they know how to edit, but they don't know the behind the scenes of getting clients.
Mm-hmm. No, that's true. A lot of people who reach out to me have questions about that.
Yeah. And I don't have all the answers. That's why hopefully by March I will.
Yeah.
It's something that I'm learning every day. There's always a new curveball. There's always new clients coming, reaching out, or I work really hard on these proposals, and the client just boop, disappears all of a sudden. He's all in until you give him that quote, and then they're gone. So it's to help people start their business, start the videography business, and do it the right way. So that's the idea behind my channel. Now I was debating like, do I, come up with a cool name? Do I just use my name? So that's still in the works. I'm still not 100% sold. But we'll see. And then that's the goal, is to put myself out there more and create my own brand. Because yes, I have a website. Yes, we have this and all that, but have something that's just mine that I can always fall back onto later on. So 2025, my goal is to expand my portfolio by launching
Love it.
my
Can't wait
my
for
YouTube.
our first
That's
collab.
it. I'll have you on as a guestie. I'll have you as a guest.
Nice.
But yeah,
Oh,
no, but that's the plan and that's the goal. So it's been in the works for a while. It's just it was hard to come up with what am I going to talk about on a weekly basis, because that's something that throughout all the time that we spend talking together, you've shared a lot with about how it's not easy to script and manage your life, and then test his camera, and okay, I got to film a game, and like you said, like there's nothing wrong with just talking to the camera. And if there's anything I've learned over the last year, is some of my rawest posts on, say, like LinkedIn, they've gotten the most views and the most feedback. Where when I've scripted stuff and I've been more professional and more clean, like the image is still clean, the audio is still good. But when I actually just tell people like, hey, I struggle with this, or yes, you might think this of me, but this is really hard for me, people really, really appreciate the honesty. So that's what I'm going to try to bring on my YouTube channel, is just show the struggles, show the behind the scenes of what it's like to be a solo entrepreneur. And there's good and there's bad. Everyone assumes like, oh, you can make your own hours. Oh, you're your own boss. It's like, no, man, I'm working all the time. Like, it's what, 7:45 right now on a Friday night, and you and I are doing this podcast because we're not in our normal time slot because Ease Construction's back. So, but people don't realize all this, So that's what my plan is show the other side of it, and hopefully help somebody not make the mistakes that I did.
maybe it'll even teach me a thing or two.
I guess for setting these goals, or setting these new objectives, how do you set your goals for the following year? Like, say for your YouTube channel, let's talk about your YouTube channel. Do you sit down and set goals? Like, okay, we're January 1. Where do I want to be December 31st?
I do, but well, not necessarily those dates, but like I do have goals for like this year or 5 years, whatever. But sorry. Um, what I've learned is that if you just have goals and you put it on the list and it's there, like you never really do anything about it because it's a big thing. It's obviously big, otherwise it wouldn't be on the list. And there's like basically what's the saying? It's like a goal without a plan is just a dream or something like that.
Yeah, that's it. That's
So
it.
so so yeah, that's pretty much the point that I'm trying to make. It's like if you just have a goal list, it doesn't go anywhere. You're just dreaming about, oh yeah, one day I'm going to do that, and then and I've done that. Like looking at my goal list a year later, and realizing that there was actually a deadline on that thing that I didn't even think about, and then we're actually there, and nothing's changed. So for me, the idea is that be realistic with my goals and have a plan. So make sure that I do have a plan. Doesn't have to be the craziest, like super strict plan, but steps and yeah, just being accountable and making sure that I'm going through those steps. And obviously, then the follow up question would be like, how do you make that plan? Because let's say that the goal is to make X amount of money per month from your sports videography or get new clients, something like that. So come, all right, that's my goal, but how do I build it? I to me, I'm gonna get like very Gary Vaynerchuk ish, but I think it's like you have to like reverse engineer the whole thing. It's like, all right, I want to get like for example, let's say you're starting sports videography, you have a few small clients, you're making it a little bit of money, but not too much. And you're like, all right, this year I want to get to a point by the end of the year where I'm making, and I'm just saying random numbers so that it's easy to count so that we don't fuck up the math because we're not very smart. So like, let's say you say, all right, I want to be by the end of the year making like $10,000 a month. So like, all right, so to get there, I would need like right now with the amount of the money that I'm paying, that I'm getting paid, I would need like an insane amount of clients per month. So obviously this does not work. So maybe I need to get, well, obviously I need to, I need to like up my rates. So like to up your rates, anybody's allowed to up their rates. First of all, like don't people are so scared of, especially now that, it's a new year, it's the perfect time to do it. Everybody who hires you works for a business that have rates that go up like they understand it's not, you're not going to lose half your clients because your rates went up. But anyway, my point is, yeah, you reverse engineer all this. So like now, okay, like let's say if I can charge this much, then I would need that many clients. So like, all right, so now my goal now becomes just getting 5 new clients for let's say. So like if I only have 2 right now, how can I get 3 more or well, 5 more or whatever? So like it's and going like just like breaking it down and just then the next step becomes way more simple than just making $10,000 a month. Like you have a specific goal and you're going after that thing and like because then it's like all right, how do I get 5 new clients? Well, where can I sort of advertise my services? Like, oh well, maybe it's networking with the people that I'm working now, maybe it's like there's people that I used to work with, now they've moved somewhere else. If I can back in touch with them, maybe they've got new things going on in there that might be interesting to me. So that's all part of networking. Obviously, maybe it's just making more content on Instagram and tagging everyone just so that their circles know that I exist. And maybe it's a combination of all those things. But like, let's say for the next month, that's what I'm focused on. Just advertising, networking, marketing. So like just giving yourself like specific sort of tasks and specific goals for that month, for that the next 3 months, that trimester or whatever, so that at the end of the year you ultimately get to that bigger goal. Yeah.
So
Vaynerchuk.
that's how you run a successful YouTube channel, guys. Okay, he just laid down that foundation. Now I'm going to simplify that for you.
Good.
What you said is 100% right. At least I feel like you
Always
got to
is.
have the big goal and then you got to have all the baby steps, right? So what I do in my schedule is I block time to allow those baby steps. So what I do is like on a Monday, I call it a CEO day. Okay. So I'm supposed to not work for clients that day. What I do that day is I build any podcast that we have to edit. I'll edit that. I'll get the social clips ready for my podcast for my company. Then I will follow up on emails that I haven't got back to. I'm usually pretty good on emails, but there's always one or two that fall through the cracks. And that's when I try to do lead generation, because I have this massive problem where I'm kind of going through it right now, where I'm working with all these clients and I'm super busy. I'm editing all these videos and it's great working with 6, 7 clients at the same time because you're getting paid. But what happens when all those projects are done? You haven't focused on the next clients that are coming in. So now I set aside time to nurture those leads, because unfortunately, leads take a while. It takes like 2, 3 calls or 2, 3 meetings to actually finally get stuff signed sometimes. Some people know what they want right away and you pitch them a good proposal and they're in. But a lot of the people need a lot of warming up. They need approvals. They're not the main boss, so you have to wait. So I set aside time to nurture those relationships, follow up. And by me blocking time to do stuff, it actually makes me accountable. So, for instance, if someone's like, "Hey, can we have a quick meeting?" Well, no, sorry, I'm working on this right now. I can fit you in between 3 and 4. That's when I have a break. And I try and keep it like that. And it helps me stay focused on the goals that I need to achieve, because it's hard. When you work for yourself, I could be working, editing, and be like, "Oh, let's go get a drink. Let's go get a snack. Oh, what's that on Netflix? Oh, all of a sudden you're 2 episodes in and you still have a project to edit. So block your
That's
time.
called working from home.
That's it. That's it. No, but when I block my time, you know what I do? I put my phone on its charger and I'll set an alarm. And 2 hours, I'm working on this. 9 out of 10 times in those 2 hours, if I'm not distracted and I'm not scrolling through Amazon or buying stuff online, I can get my project done, or pretty much completed at least a rough draft and all that. And it saves me more time blocking my time than not. That's how I do it. But you definitely need the big goal and all the steps to get there. Reverse engineering is the best way
Mm.
to achieve that goal.
And blocking, yeah, that's one thing that I've started recently to, well, I've I've put it. I've like, yeah, schedule's been a bit crazy in the last with Christmas and everything, but yeah, blocking a day, because otherwise you're always catching up. You're always doing the day-to-day stuff, the weekly things, and the big picture stuff always get pushed to tomorrow or next week because there's no rush. It's a big picture or whatever, so it never gets done. So if you don't have like a day specific to just work on business development, things like that, it just never happens typically.
If you set small goals that get you to the big goal, if you achieve all those small goals, you get to that big goal. So that's something like I have clients ask me all the time, right? Because they want videos and they want views. So I ask them, do you want views, or are you trying to sell something with those views? Like, do you want new leads? And the answer is they want new leads. So at the end of the day, for the stuff that I'm doing for them, the views don't really matter. It's more about, do they get a new client through those videos? And 9 out of 10 times, if they get one new client, the videos pay for themselves.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because it's not about the number of views, it's about the quality of the views, basically. It's who's actually watching.
So it's, if you connect with the right person and someone buys their service, then you've done a good job. And all those baby steps is figure out what metrics are really working for you. Do you really need the views? Like, so say on YouTube, you
Mm.
want the views, but you want the AdSense views. That's what really.
Well, for me, to be totally honest, if I'm looking at it from a simply from a business perspective, look, I'm not talking like, obviously I like to get more views because I like my videos to have an impact on as many sports videographers as possible. But from a business perspective, the more people who like, if it's more, I make more money if the people who watch my videos are more people inclined to buy LUTs and sound effects and things like that. So that's, from a business perspective, a more quality view. But but in a way. Like, there's no way for me to know that when I do my videos. So I'm not too concerned about it. Like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And there's always another video coming out the week after. So, you can't be too, because the thing is as well, like, do you make your videos more for that? Or do you make it more for, Amazon sort of affiliate marketing? So do you want to, target more that type of stuff? Or if I do more video editing stuff, then I get usually, I don't think I get more. Well, yeah, I think I do get more views in the long run anyway, when it's editing. But then editing is not, I'm not a huge fan of doing those videos because it's like a lot of screen records and all these things. It's not that fun to do. So yeah, there's all sorts of different things.
So do you have any examples of any SMART goals that you've set, and how they paid off?
Well, my launching my products, my digital products is probably something that, like, if you don't set time to do it, then it never moves forward. It just never happens. And then all those months that you lost not doing it, those are months where you could have made money. So yeah, by setting a schedule and working on it and making sure that it advances, and to be honest, like the last one, the visual effects one, I knew that if I was doing it all by myself, it would take forever. And because I'm not that great at After Effects, so I probably would have to learn things just to try to create something that is worthy of someone else paying for it. And I was like, this is just going to take me forever. So I didn't hire, we partnered up with someone, and I talked about this in the video when I launched the visual effects. Like, Andrew came in and we sort of partnered up on that thing, and he needs like a great, like, visual effects, person. So he took on that side, and I was obviously helping him on the creative side with the ideas and saying what I like, what I don't like, and all that sort of stuff. But to me, that was a way to make sure that it was actually getting done. And this is high. If I'm not capable of doing it, then I'm gonna hire someone that can, and we're gonna work together and figure out a way that we both get something out of it, and that way at least things are moving forward. And that was the plan. Sometimes, you can't do everything. So if you need help in some areas, or if there's areas of your job that you don't really like doing and you never do them because you don't enjoy them, well, see if there's a way to delegate them to someone else.
You buy back your time, basically. Sometimes it's worth it to pay for a service or pay for help, to save you the time because your time is valuable and you could be working on other stuff. So then, see, that's something that I have struggled with in the past is hiring people. I'm always like, oh, I could do it because you look at it like that. One SMART goal that I had this year. So before, when you were talking about, if you want $10,000 a month, you need X amount of clients, right? So I basically broke that down because after running my business the first year, for fully running my business the first year, I ran into some hiccups, and business taxes are a little bit different than I thought, and I owed a
I
lot
heard about
more
this.
than I thought. So I was like, "Oh, shit, my back's against the wall. I got to pay all this tax. I don't want to, like, you know, empty out my account just to pay the government." So I was like, okay, all I need is three new clients, and this is all taken care of. So I launched a quick little campaign on LinkedIn. I ended up with 8 new clients, and it worked. And I was just honest. And all I did, something that I should have done a long time ago, is I just treated myself like one of my clients. So what I do for my clients on a weekly basis, I just did for myself, and it worked for me. And it's something that I've continued to do, and it's helped my business grow and helped me grow. So it was a smart little goal that I set out with to get 3 clients, but it grows. And now that's why I block so much time to nurture leads and make sure that I keep those communications, because that's what I learned with my back against the wall. Because I was like, oh, wow, okay, I didn't plan properly for this, or I thought this was going to be okay. And I was like, okay, no, I need to get more clients. I need to get more serious now, because we all get into that phase where we're comfortable, but it's good to be uncomfortable. It's good because it makes you do things you normally wouldn't do, and it gets you out of your shell, and you learn from it. You learn from that experience. So, set smart goals and figure out ways to get yourself out of trouble. So, how do you measure success when working on a creative project? So we kind of touched on it a
Yeah.
bit, is about views and that. But when you work with clients, how do you view that success with your clients?
Well, for me, it's a happy client. If a client is happy and they're coming back, life is good. But you also have to be proactive with these things. Like you don't want to, because it's not like one day like there'll be a bad project and they'll be gone. It'll be more like over time things will get stale. You'll always sort of feed them the same videos over and over, and they'll see what's going on out there, and they'll see other videographer do things that are more fun, more dynamic, more creative, and they'll feel like, you know what, maybe we should try someone else, just see how it goes. And that's kind of how you lose a client. So it's about making sure that, yeah, when you have a client and they keep coming back and they're willing to work with you long term, and first of all they have the, the needs to enough video needs for you to work, regularly on a retainer or whatever the case may be. You want to That to me is success, because it's like a, I know it's an income that's going to be there for a while. And so you want to make sure that you take good care of it, that you're always changing, suggesting new ideas, and those suggestions might bring you even more work. So sometimes if you rely on non-creative people to come up with the ideas for your next videos, it's probably going to be more boring, and there's probably going to be less of them. But if you sort of get involved in the process, and you're sort of friendly suggestions and ideas, and just like an email or something, and then next thing you know, you're doing videos that you actually enjoy, and then and the client likes you because you're suggesting things that they wouldn't have thought of, and that they really like. And yeah, so it's about coming up with always sort of being a bit of ahead, not just waiting for things to just sort of die, to figure out, well, yeah, maybe I should pick up the ball and try to, you know stop being lazy. So yeah, but yeah, to really answer your question, I think, yeah, it's just having enough clients that come back to me regularly so that I can pay my bills. I'm happy with that, and then everything on top of that is sort of gravy.
I want to grow with my clients. I want them to be excited about producing videos. I want them to have a vision about where these videos are going. And I always suggest that I'm like, hey, show me stuff that you like. And it doesn't have to be so much related to what you the niche you're in or the product you're selling, but show me stuff that interests you, and we'll find a recipe from that to bring to your company. And I want to work on projects that make me excited too, because as a video editor and a videographer, I have one bad habit. And I'm sure a lot of you guys out there, and I'm sure you have this bad habit too, is you do a project, you film all day, and you get home and you're pumped. You're pumped about that project. But then life gets in the way. And that card sits on your desk for like 3, 4, 5 days. And then by the time you finally back up all the footage and get everything done, guess what? That rush from the project is over. And now it feels like work. Now you feel like you have to edit this and you have to go through it and you're dreading it. So while I have that buzz now of finishing a project, I try and get it done as soon as possible. Now, it's not always possible to get it done right away, but while I'm still excited about what I filmed and I can remember the shots and everything's fresh, I try my best to stay focused and get that project edited as soon as possible. It's not so much to meet someone else's deadline. It's not so much to give my client the video as soon as possible. It's more for me to stay excited about the project before it feels like work. It's hard to do though. It's hard. Like I have a project right now that I have to edit, but I've had other stuff in the way, but it's already starting to feel like, oh, that weight is on my shoulder. Like I got to get it done. I got to get it done. And I hate that
Yeah.
feeling.
So how, like, with all these, you've got days for your videos, for your clients and all that stuff. So like, how do you manage your personal time through all that?
So what I try to do is I'll have some late nights. So you have your family time, and then they go to bed, and I'll sneak down and put in a good 2 hour editing session before bed, say from like 10 till midnight. It sucks, but hey, it's how I manage my time. Sometimes there are weeks where you have less shoots, less clients, so you have more time. But say this last week has been crazy, editing like 9 different projects. So to stay on top of it, like I'll have to put in those extra hours. But with the holidays and all that, it worked out, right? So you cram all before the holidays, and then thank God we had the holidays. I had some time off. But that's how I kind of stay on top of it. Or I'll do the opposite. Uh, I don't know about you, but you ever dream about work or dream about projects?
It's been a while, but yeah, I'm sure it happened. Actually, I don't remember my dream, so that's why I'm struggling to answer that question.
So the other day I woke up at 5 in the morning because I just couldn't sleep. So I just woke up and it was a Saturday morning. I couldn't sleep. So I woke up. I edited from 5 till 8 in the morning, but I got a whole project done in those 3 hours. Don't get me wrong. I don't do it all the time. I'm not waking up at
The
5, doing ice baths and doing all this stuff. It just happened. I couldn't sleep that one night. So I got up and I did
the
the extra work. But I like having my back to the wall. Like if you give me a tight deadline, it's like I push myself to meet that deadline. Now it's
Mhm.
not always fun, but that's just who I am.
So do you have like suggestions for like I'm thinking of a lot if we take it back to more of a sports videography perspective. Like I'm thinking of smart a new sports videographer that's at a level now where they're trying to build like a business. They have a few clients. Like what support system? Like what is there like apps or is there should you hire like or maybe not hire in terms of full time but like have like a few people that you can rely on to help you edit when you don't have the time or like what would be like the thing that you would focus more of your energy to be to make sure that you have the support system to sort of build a business where you can do like full time working with clients in sports videography or videography?
Okay, so first, it's gonna sound crazy that I say this. Shoot less. Shoot what you need because that will reduce your work time. And that's something that I learned throughout the years. I used to shoot everything and be recording all the time, all the time. Yes, in sports, it's a little harder than corporate stuff. Sports is hard because you're trying to capture every play, right? You want the best shots, you want the best stuff. But you know, like you mark your shots, you put your hand in front of your camera, you know what's good. You got to find tricks to speed up your process. So the first thing is find those clips, the best clips, as fast as possible. I'll go to sporting events already if I'm doing like a quick highlight tape. I already have that song in my head. I'll already have done that research and taken that time out of my edit where I know what I'm going to be working with, what sound effects, what I want to see in my video, and I kind of already break it down how I want to. I pre-edit it before I go and shoot, and that will definitely save you time. Now for a support system, I'm lucky. I got UE. No, but it really helps having a friend who knows your struggles. Like before with this podcast, I was talking about work and you're talking about work and we're talking about stuff. And it's really nice to have somebody you can lean on. Not that they're going to do the work for you, but sometimes it's nice just to bounce an idea off of or just to vent your struggles. So I definitely feel like you need somebody who's in the same genre work environment as you. It doesn't have to be doing the exact same thing, but it definitely helps to have that person that you could talk to and bounce ideas off of because as a video editor or a sports videographer, I've said this before, I feel like I'm always solving puzzles. Because we get these edits. Sometimes people send us footage, stuff's missing, it's crappy, it's not what we want. So we're trying to always figure out a way to put out the best product out there. And I don't always have all the answers. So sometimes just talking to a friend, getting an idea off them, or even if it's just to show somebody your edit before you release it or give it to a client when you first start off for the feedback, that's going to go a long way. That's going to save you a lot of time. I I know it would be amazing to have a second editor right away and have someone to save you time, But let's be honest, you're probably not going to be able to afford that right away. So I think being more organized with what you're shooting, being more systematic with how you're going to edit those shoots, and having somebody that you can rely on to for feedback will definitely help your career in the right path. Start in the right path anyway.
Hmm. Well, I like it. What do you say while you're on the roll here
Eh,
with me throwing you fastball questions?
no problem, no problem.
No, I was gonna ask, what do you think for again for someone who's starting a videography business like that? What would be the biggest obstacle? Like, what's the thing that is usually the biggest holdup, or the scariest part, or I don't know, wherever you want to take this.
The scariest part is getting clients
Hmm.
because there's only really a couple ways to get clients. It's either by referral, right? By advertising, or I guess networking. That's
Well,
and
that's a
referral and
three things,
networking.
by the way.
3 things. What did I say? How many things did I say?
You said two.
2, 3, 3. Those are the only kind of ways that I know how to get clients. And there's months where you feel like you're on top of the world because the paychecks are coming in, the projects are coming in, and you're like, wow, this is great. And then all of a sudden you have a month where it's like, whew, nothing. And those months are scary, scary, scary. But you plan for those months and you plan for when it's quiet, you'll be okay. But you don't learn that right away. And no one tells you that right away. You think your business is going to take off because you're doing so good this first month or the second month. But it's a roller coaster. But everything in life is a roller coaster. And the way I look at it is when I had a full-time job, I had one client. And that one client can get rid of you anytime they want. But when I have 4 or 5 clients, if one leaves me, it's not so bad. I can always replace them. So that's what kind of being this entrepreneur, solo entrepreneur, uh, that's where the benefits come from. You have the opportunity to get more clients. There is no base salary. You can, if I go out and I get 10 clients, I can make X amount of dollars. Where when I work for one client, whether I edit 30 videos or 3 videos, I'm getting the same paycheck normally. So it's that mindset. And I think one of the biggest challenges is when you do start is not having that regular paycheck where you get paid like, I don't know how we used to get paid like every Thursday. Now, when you get paid by clients, sometimes you bill them, they pay you 30 days later. I try to get payment ahead of the project, or I'll do one installment in the beginning, one at the end, to kind of, make it easier for my client, make it easier for me. So that part is hard to get used to, not the consistent income. So you kind of got to figure out when you get that money, how you're going to set it aside and how you're going to make it last. I don't have affiliate links like you, so Amazon's not just giving me money all the
Well,
time.
me neither, because Canada Post is on strike, so still waiting for my December 1st check.
In any job, there's obstacles. It's how good are you at problem solving and how can you adapt? And if you could figure, you'll figure it out. And if not, then that's where you pay. And I paid for business coaching because I hit a wall. And as videographers, you probably get on your Instagram, hey videographer, do you want to make $10,000 a month, or are you not making $20,000 a month? I'm going to show you how. And I took a course like that, not exactly like that, but similar to that. And it does work. It does work. But it's simple business coaching. And it's things. It's all about being consistent, blocking your time and working on that stuff. A lot of them tell you to put up Facebook ads. And Facebook ads do work, but you got to put in the work to have those Facebook ads work. And people don't think that. They think it's a quick fix. Nothing is a quick fix.
I'm going through it.
I've run Facebook ads, you've run Facebook ads. You have to run your ad for a long time before you get traction. And the problem is too many people pull the plug way too soon. I did it. I was afraid. I was like, oh, it's costing me money, but it takes money to make money. Like, at least in that way.
Yeah, but it's always scary to spend money in something you've never spent money in before, especially if it's every day or every week, depending on how you set it up. But yeah, when you've never spent money on something and then all of a sudden you're just putting money into it and it's not getting any returns, whether it's Facebook ads or anything business related. Sorry. Um, yeah, you're investing because it's something. That's why I like, it's not for everyone in the sense that where you're investing money into getting a job, basically. So like for a lot of people, it's just, I know I'm the one that should be getting the money. I'm not paying for anything. I want a job and then you pay me money and then I can do whatever I want with my money, but I'm not paying for, for equipment, for advertising, for this, for that, in the hope that one day I might be making some money. So like that lifestyle, that choice is not for everyone. But if you're up for it, then the reward, because that's the thing with the job, it's, there's going to be an hourly salary and that's going to be it. Like it's going to go up, every 5 years or whatever, but not by much. And that's, exactly what your life is going to be for the next 5, 10, 15 years. But when you're freelancing, you're doing all these things, then sky's the limit because different clients, different businesses, different, situations, who knows?
When you have a full-time job, guess what? You're spending money to get to work anyway. It's the same thing as paying Facebook ads. You're putting money in the vehicle that's gonna get you the work. It's just a different vehicle.
You just blew my mind.
That's it. That's it. 2025 is all about Lance's quotes, okay? That's what it's all about.
All right, all right, all right.
But when I realized, and I'll be transparent. One month when I first started, I had a really good month. I made over 30K in 1 month. And I was like, wow, okay, I could do this. The sky is the limit.
Jeez,
The
next
next
time I
month, I
want
didn't.
2 banana breads.
That's it. No, but the next month I didn't make that. I didn't make that because I was trapped in that other month where I had all those projects and then I didn't get to nurture those relationships, right? So I learned from that. But I saw right away that the sky is the limit. You can get the clients, you could get paid what you're worth. It's just you have to put yourself out there. You have to be in contact with the right people because as a entrepreneur, sometimes I have people that want to work with me, but I don't want to work with them or vice versa because you're not always a good match.
Yeah.
And one of the hardest things, to do is to say no. Because sometimes, yeah, there's clients that you work with and they are a pain in the ass and you don't need them anymore. So eventually you have to let go of it and you can't say yes to everything. If you say yes to everything, you're going to burn out. You're going to burn out. So and it's hard. It's tricky. You don't want to burn out as a videographer.
All you have to do is just charge them way more.
Yeah, but then they say yes and you're like, "Damn it."
Yeah, at least it's worth it then. Yeah. And also if you charge them more, then they don't make you do as many videos, so you don't work for them as much, but you're making the same money. So life is good.
I'll ask you this then before because we're getting ready to wrap up soon. What's a tool or a
It's not that time.
strategy that that's been a game changer for your productivity?
I use Trello to make lists of my schedule, my list, things like that. So it's more about like, yeah, having a plan.
A to-do list or kind of, right?
Yeah, exactly. So like I use Trello, but there's tons of different apps and different things that do it. But yeah, it's more about having a to-do list, knowing what tomorrow's like, and the key as well is not to just put a shitload of stuff in tomorrow's column and then you don't get through half of them and you just push them to the next one and push them and push
You like
them, like,
this? Like this list here?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Which I do, especially when it's on a computer. It's a lot easier. It doesn't look as messy as having to scratch it and rewrite it every day. So but yeah, it's just making a like you sort of touched on before, like having a like Monday is a filming day, Tuesday is an editing day, Wednesday is a business day, and those things don't change. And if they do, then maybe I swap them. Like I'll swap a Monday for a Wednesday or something. But and yeah, so and whatever's on the list of the Wednesday has to get done Wednesday. So that way, like, first of all, you work with a bit more urgency. You're more on point. You get up early because you know I have a lot to do and things like that. So yeah, I think that's probably what got me more. As I said when I started the beginning of last year, just working 100% from home and being my own boss and all these things, I had to sort of put some real structure into the way I was doing things, because otherwise it was easy to just get lazy and get comfortable and push my to-do list, like, Monday becomes Tuesday, Tuesday becomes Wednesday, and just push. And so yeah, now it's a bit more structured, and yeah, that's probably the thing that makes me progress a lot more. What about you?
So the tool that I find is a game changer for most people, including myself, is a content calendar. And the reason why I say that is because our line of business, we're all about content. So whether it's for a client, whether it's for game day glare, that content calendar for me is one of the most important things. It just helps me visualize. I'm doing a podcast this week. I'm going to have this many clips. I'm going to do a clip here, clip here, clip there for, say, game day glare. When I propose clients and I show them the amount of content and the amount of posts that they will have in the upcoming 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, that's what gets them excited. And then I map out, this is a filming day. This is when we'll edit it. This is when you'll have all your stuff. And I have them basically work like, say month 1 is all filming, producing the content. And then you work month 2 and 3. That's when you're putting it out. But during month 3, we're already filming the next 3 months of content. So for most people, showing them that content calendar, showing them how it works, working through it with them, the ideas and the messaging that they want to get through, that's one of the most important tools I find for selling video, but for showing where the video is going, showing that the video has a purpose. Because a lot of companies, a lot of people, a lot of sports videographers post, but they don't know why they're posting. So the content calendar helps show that you're posting with purpose. At least for me. I mean, I use other tools, but I think for a productivity game changer is to show where that content's going, show how that content is going to, help you grow or stay more consistent. It definitely helps a lot of people stay focused. Yeah. And before, when you were talking about, Monday becomes Tuesday, Tuesday becomes Wednesday, I thought you were talking about my gym routine, how I keep pushing it and pushing it. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, so do a bit of that too.
So I guess we kind of went all over the place on this episode, but there is something I would like to ask the viewers is, listen, why don't you guys in the comments share your 2025 goals? And maybe there's some stuff that we can help you guys with, and we could talk about on upcoming shows too, because we're all in this together. We're all videographers. We're all sports videographers. We all have the same passions. So you know what? Maybe we can help you, but who knows? Maybe you can help us too.
Good point. I like it.
Yeah.
Comments below.
That's it. All right. So I guess, is that it for this first episode of 2025?
Yes. First of 52.
You have no more curveball questions at me? Because I did this nice show rundown and he just thrown out questions that he just like, I'll ask him this one. I'll put him on the spot.
Yeah, I get inspired because your answers are so smart. It takes me in a direction where
It's from
I
the
could have
heart.
done a half hour on your new YouTube channel. So
yeah. Well, I'm gonna be picking your brain on that YouTube channel. So we'll be working more on that. But 2025 is gonna be a big year for Game Day Glare, for E, and for myself. So stay tuned, guys, and comment below on your goals for 2025. Looking forward to seeing those. Take care.
See ya.